Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today I wanted to share some crochet Christmas ornaments that I made for family. These are going to be given away as part of our Christmas celebrations this year. I do realize that it is a little bit late to be sharing these. Right now it is December 21st. I was hoping to film this earlier and get it out earlier this month, but work got really busy and I just didn't have time. Hopefully, though, this can serve as some inspiration for next year. You can save some of these patterns and work on them throughout the year and have them ready for next Christmas. All the patterns that you see here are done with loops and threads, soft classic acrylic. This is a number 4 worsted weight yarn. And for all of them, I also used a 3.5, I don't know if you can see that starting to wear off, 3.5 millimeter hook. Some of them did call for a smaller hook size. I just got a little bit lazy, if I'm honest, and had the hook on hand, and so I just used it for all of the patterns. I think they turned out well, but if you are wanting it to be exact to the pattern, then you will want to double check the hook size to make sure that your gauge is going to match up with the pattern. The first ornament that I want to share with you, I actually had to give away last week. And so I did record a clip of it earlier. I'll roll that one first and then we'll jump into the ones that we have here. My apologies for the change in sound quality and probably lighting. I am giving this one away to somebody today, and so I just wanted to film this in advance to show you guys. This one is a Christmas tree ornament, and the pattern is by Stitch by Faye. She has a blog with the free pattern and lots of other free patterns on there as well. This one is crocheted in 2 separate pieces. So you have a smaller cone and then a larger cone on the bottom. Once they're crocheted separately, then you just stack them, and I tied mine together with this piece of twine here. The other thing that I added were these beads. I just sewed them in with some regular thread, and I thought they added a nice little touch of shimmer. They can represent either little baubles or Christmas lights. One thing to note is on Stitch by Faye's blog, the pictures of her ornament, the outside rim is actually quite, not flat, but flush. It doesn't stick out the same way that mine does. I don't know if mine was an issue with tension or if I did some of the stitches incorrectly, but just a note there, I'm not quite sure if it was my error or what it was there. But overall, a fairly easy make. It's crocheted in a continuous round, and then you just have some stitches at the end of, or at the bottom of each cone to make the kind of ruffles there. All right, back to the patterns that I have here. The first thing that I want to share with you are these 3 in front here. They are by Pora Pora Crochet. She's here on YouTube. I hope I'm saying that correctly. She has lots of beautiful patterns that cover all the seasons. She has Easter and Valentine's Day and Halloween, lots of summer patterns, and of course, lots of beautiful Christmas patterns as well. Hers tend to be the kind of flat ornaments rather than the amigurumi style ornaments, but I feel like they crocheted up really, really beautifully. I think with these, I would have preferred to use a cotton yarn. I think that would help with the stitch definition, particularly on this angel's dress here. I feel like the stitches kind of got a little bit muddled because of the fuzziness of the acrylic yarn. So I think next time I would try it with a cotton yarn rather than acrylic and see if that makes a difference. But I feel like they came together really beautifully. I actually am really pleased with how the wreath turned out. I think that's one of my favorites out of the 3. So definitely check her out. I will link her videos in the description below. The next pattern that I want to share with you is this Mickey Mouse ornament. I found the pattern on a website called Red Ted Art, but the pattern is actually designed by an Olga Tarasova. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly as well. She has an Etsy store where she sells her patterns. The Etsy store is called Colorful Easy Crochet, and she has lots of different variations of this type of ornament. So the Mickey Mouse ears, but different colors, different styles. This one was quite involved as a crochet project. It's lots of different pieces and pardon me, lots of different pieces that then get sewn together. So you do a front and a back circle for the main body part, and then also for the ears, there's a front and a back. And then you do the kind of beard part separately as well as the belt, and then it all gets sewn together. Um, I decided to stuff mine a little bit just to give it a little bit of dimension. The original pattern, you don't, you just put them together and sew them together as a flat piece. So this actually would be a really good piece if you wanted to mail it to somebody with a Christmas card or maybe a birthday card, because they would be quite flat without the stuffing. Overall, I'm pretty pleased with how it turned out. You can see my sewing here isn't the greatest. I am still learning how to sew pieces together with crochet. So you can see some of my stitches here, but I think it still turned out really cute. And then I added a little loop to hang as well. Next up, we have this cute little stocking. I found this one on a blog called Sewrella. It is a free pattern, and she actually has a variation of it which has red and white stripes instead of just the solid color. Hers is not stuffed, but I decided that I wanted to make it kind of like a plushie a little bit, and so I did add some stuffing to mine, and then I just sewed up the top. I believe in the original pattern, the top is left open. Um, this one was a little bit tricky when it came to the heel part. I found that I did not understand the instructions very well. I think if I did it again, it would be a little bit easier, but I did struggle with attaching the heel part. You can see it's not the greatest, but I did figure it out. I did have to improvise a little bit just because I couldn't quite figure it out. She does have some pictures with the pattern, but I found that wasn't quite as clear as I needed it to be. But regardless, it turned out really cute. I think I would definitely make this one again. So definitely check this one out. All right, so next up are these cute Christmas elf mushrooms. These little mushies were really popular this year within the crochet world. It seems they were all over the internet. This one is by Poe Handmade. She has so many cute variations on her channel. She's here on YouTube, and she has so many different variations. Some have animal hats, and they're just really adorable. I decided to do these cute little elves for my twin niece and nephew, and I think they turned out really cute. They do sit, let's see if I can, they'll sit quite nicely like that. And so they're nice little table decorations or little toys for little ones. Hers, she does use smaller safety eyes, but I only had 6mm safety eyes. Those are the smallest I had, but I still think it works. They're not too big. And I also stitched on these little smiley faces with some embroidery floss. Now, just a note, her verbal instructions in her videos are not in English. I believe she speaks, I want to say Vietnamese maybe, but she does write the pattern out at the top of her videos. So even if you don't understand, you can still follow along with the written pattern. You do need to know the bauble stitch for the arms and the legs, but there's lots of tutorials all over YouTube that you can find. And it's a super simple stitch. And if you learn that before you start the pattern, you'll be fine. The hat for this one, I made a bit of a mistake at the very top, and so it looked a little funny, so I just decided I was going to stitch it down as like a little curved cap there. I think it turned out really cute. Next up, I have this Christmas mitten by Anvy's Granny Handcraft. Pardon me, Handicrafts. She does have a blog as well as a YouTube channel. The pattern is free on her blog. You do need to scroll quite a ways down to actually get to the written pattern. So just a note there. This pattern is interesting because she uses abbreviations in the written pattern that I've actually never seen before in a pattern. So for example, I think for single crochet, instead of writing SC like many patterns do, she used an X, I believe was it what it was. So that caught me a little bit off guard, but she does have a legend that gives you all the explanations for her abbreviations. Once you look through it, it's pretty easy to get the hang of it. I didn't run into any problems. I did have to refer back a couple times, but beyond that, it was pretty simple to follow. I did follow the written pattern rather than the video tutorial, except for when it came to joining the thumb to the main part of the mitten. I wasn't quite sure how to do that, and so I did check out the video tutorial just for that part to make sure I was doing it correctly. Other than that, it was a pretty simple one to follow with the written pattern. I added a hanging loop. Hers doesn't have one. And also in her pattern, she stitches on really cute little snowflakes. I just didn't have time to do it for this one, and so I left mine plain. Um, it also sits quite nicely, just like the little mushies. So if you wanted to do it without the hanging loop and just have it sitting as a table decoration or a decoration on a shelf, that would work as well. The last two patterns that I have for you are both by Stitch by Faye, and I have her Christmas bauble and her Christmas light ornament. She has a blog with lots of great free patterns on it. I really enjoy her designs. I would highly recommend that you check out her blog. This bauble was actually meant to be a Santa type ornament. So in the middle, you do, I think, 2 or 3 rows of black, and then you add a yellow buckle, similar to the Mickey Mouse. When I decided I wanted mine to be all red, and then I wanted to add a face for that kind of amigurumi style look. Really easy to work up, particularly if you are familiar with crocheting amigurumi. It's crocheted in the round, and then the topper is actually crocheted directly onto the ornament, so there's no additional sewing or anything involved. I also added this little hanging loop just by doing some chains and then sewing it back into the top. So I think this one turned out really well. I'm really pleased with how this one turned out. It's definitely one of my favorites that I made. The other one is this, oh, sorry, there we go. The other one is this Christmas light ornament. Now, Stitch by Faye uses a DK weight yarn and a 2.5 millimeter hook. I decided I wanted to try it with the acrylic, the worsted weight acrylic, as well as my 3.5. Again, partially because I was lazy and I didn't want to go get another hook. But I do think that if you wanted to make this into a garland, like she suggests on her blog, using the smaller yarn and the smaller hook would definitely look better. Because I'm using this one as a single ornament, I actually really like the size of it. I think it turned out a really good size for just a single ornament that you would hang on the tree. But it would look really cute, I think, if you had multiple of them with different colors and you string them together as a garland. I think that would be a really cute Christmas decoration for sure. Thank you so much for watching and for spending some time here with me. I hope that you found something that inspired you, maybe a pattern that you'd like to try for next season, next Christmas season. I will be linking all of the patterns, either the written patterns or the video tutorials in the description below, so please check that out. Let me know in the comments, which one are you thinking that you would like to try making? And also, if you have any questions about any of them, feel free to drop them in the comments and I will try to answer them the best I can. If you're interested in more arts and crafts content, please consider subscribing. I am hoping that I'll be able to post a little bit more consistently in the new year. So hopefully I'll have more videos coming out. But until then, thank you again for watching, and I hope you have a very Merry Christmas.